Kirk's been here with me for 12 years. So I would say it's the same organization, and we just keep having firepower. This is the way any good business should run. You have developing those bench guys, right, on the team and in the business side. And you want to have them learning, getting better, so that when somebody does get a big opportunity for a big advancement, which we would always support, go be the GM somewhere else or become the head coach somewhere else, then we're going to support that. But we've got people to step into the spots. So I'd like to think we have at this point, a really good organizational set of principles and chemistry, and it all works.
Joe, you probably visualized getting to this point when you guys started off the way you did. I think you were 28-7 at one point. And then you hit some bumps, mid-season bumps, and then you kind of recovered and you are where you are now. My question to you is, did you always believe you could get here, even through the rough patches? And how do you feel about the fact now that you are here?
Well, pardon me for this. I just drank a Pepsi out there, and it always does this to my voice. But I'm an optimist. So I always we set the roster in advance. We think we have a pretty good team. We thought we did this year, and I thought we'd be really good. Now, did I know we would be where we are today? No. I certainly thought we should make the Western Conference Finals with the level of talent. Whether you can make the finals, a lot of things have to happen right. You have to avoid injuries, as we all know. So I don't take this for granted at all. These guys have done an incredible job. And by the way, we were injured all year. We never really had our core team together until the playoffs. We really never did. When Clay finally came back, we got to see what that looked like. And then Draymond goes out. Comes back, and then Steph goes out. Wiggins was a constant. He was here all year. But the core guys, if you want to call it that, where the big money is spent on the payroll, we never really had them until the playoffs. So I was always optimistic that if we ever got all those guys together, that we'd be pretty darn good. And it's worked out pretty well, because I'm very proud of what they've achieved this year. They should all be very proud of it. I mean, these are tough teams. The three best records in the league were in the Western Conference. The East is tough too, and certainly Boston has had a great path. I mean, to beat the teams they did, you got to give them all their due, and they're really good. But it wasn't easy for us either. And even though we only lost, 4 games total in 3 series, which is pretty, if you look back at it, if you didn't know anything, you'd say, well, it was pretty easy. It wasn't easy. It was hard. So I always thought we had a chance to get here. You never really know. I mean, as we all know, you learn 2019, right? In consecutive games, we lost 2 catastrophic injuries, 2 guys. We should have won that series. We would have won that series. So, but that happens, and that's it. And so, that's what's so hard about this, is that you can lay all the greatest plans, pay whatever for whoever, coaches, players, development guys, and you could get hit by an injury. It's not like where you have 50 guys on a football team, or 52, whatever the number is. There's only 15 total. And 1 or 2 big ones get injured, you can be in big trouble.
You guys had 3 lottery picks the last 2 seasons. How do you look back on the internal process that led to making those selections? And what have you thought about just like the early integration process of those young guys?
Yeah. Well, I just saw a stat one of you have pointed out. I think the 19-year-olds that have played in the playoffs, the number of minutes over the history of the NBA, or even in the finals. I mean, our 2 guys you haven't played very much, and yet they're up there. Kobe, I think, was number 1 in terms of minutes for a 19-year-old. So 19-year-olds just don't play deep into the playoffs, or certainly in the finals historically in the NBA. So the fact that we are where we are, and these guys have both contributed, maybe not as much as they would like to. They play more. Everyone wants to play more when you're a good player. But what they've done is great. And what our coaches have done to get them ready for this level of play is great. And, I know Bob, the organization, took some criticism from people that, we should trade all our draft choices that we had to get one more great player or whatever. And, I was very adamant about it. So was Bob, that was not the path we were going down. We want to be good for a long time. We want to be great for a long time. And we felt we already had our investment in our core great players, and they're still young enough to perform. And so it was really going to depend. Our success this year was always going to depend primarily on Steph, Clay when he came back, and Draymond, and Wiggins, you could argue. That was always, that's fundamentally what the issue is. They're either going to be good enough or they're not. And we'll find out in the finals too. So the rest of the guys are complementary. They help in spots, and the young guys, for instance, can help in spots and then ultimately, be very important if they're good enough. And I mean, we do feel extremely strongly about Moses Moody and about Jonathan Kuminga, and Jordan Poole has already, I think, proven what he could do. He's had a phenomenal third year in the NBA. And James Wiseman, who unfortunately has been injured, but we have tremendous confidence in. I mean, he is incredibly talented and skilled, and just told me back in the locker room he feels fantastic. So I love what we've been able to do. We've been able to do this, call it a two-tiered strategy, call it whatever you want, but you got your core guys that are going to get you there this year. Meanwhile, you're going to develop these young guys. And I think we've done that. And we got a couple of guys in the middle because Bob did such a great job of bringing in the Otto Porters of the world, and even Bielitsa has done a great job. I mean, so we've got guys that are really helping out in all levels, of where they are on the roster.
Hey, Joe, when you think about Chase Center and you look back at obviously Thrive City, the crowd, reaching the NBA Finals, does it feel like the vision for Chase Center is kind of really coming to fruition right now?
Well, I'll let you guys answer that, what you think in your articles. Personally, I'm just as proud of Chase Center, personally now, as I am of this team. I can't even tell you how hard this was to get done. It took 7 years. And in this city, it's probably harder than maybe any other city to do it. And as you know, it's been ballyhooed. It was all private money, which, to be honest with you, I'm proud of. We didn't take any money away from police and fire and essential services. And I think we're all proud of that. And how does it look? I think it looks great. I love it. Every single night I get chills when I walk into the arena. I literally get chills. I love it. I love basketball. I've loved it all my life for over 50 years, been going to games. I've been to every arena in the world. And to me, there is no better arena in the world than this Chase Center. It just needs the experiences like this one to kind of give it that history, which Oracle had, and which places like MSG, well, a long time ago anyway, had. But you know what I mean? So I think that's what's great about it. We love this building. Our players love this building. Our partners love this building. And it's showing up pretty well.
Joe, could you kind of take us through your experience as a minority owner of the Celtics, and what did you get out of that experience that helped prepare you for this opportunity with the Warriors?
Yeah, it was very important. I think to run any business in life, actually, it doesn't even need to be a business. I mean, you kind of need some experience, right? You need to be able to do pattern matching. You need to be able to see what works, what doesn't work. And when I was building companies, sometimes you kind of knows what's the right kind of CEO for a certain type of company. What kind of people do you hire? And I think in this case, it's the same kind of thing. Boston was an experience for me as a limited partner to get to see how an NBA team ran up front and personal and real. And I got to know people like Danny Ainge, and Doc Rivers was the coach. I have a ring from 2008, by the way, somewhere. For the championship. So 5 years, I think it was a tremendous experience with the basketball side and the business side. I learned some things that I would like to do the way they did it, and things maybe that we would do different. We built our own arena. They rent an arena. So, I mean, these are fundamental differences that you have to decide on. But I felt it was important for the long-term gestation of this franchise to be able to have our own arena and to control it and to have the revenues able to support your team that you want. So Boston was very important, and those guys were very helpful. They're friends to this day. Not too close friends. I want to kill them right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm very competitive about this, and I'm sure they are too. So it's going to be a battle on the court and a little bit of a battle at the ownership level too. I mean, we want to kill each other and we want to win, both teams, and they should. And they're a very good organization and a very good team, and really deserve to be where they are. And I think it's going to make, as a fan, for a great series. Really good. I think TV is going to love it. Boston's a big market. I would hope that our fans don't sell too many of our tickets on the secondary market to Boston fans. No way to control that really, but they have a tremendous traveling fan base, but so do we. I'm sure other teams hate it when we go into Memphis and there's all these Golden State Warrior fans. You've seen it. It's pretty remarkable. That's great for us. The other teams hate it. So Boston, believe me, there will be Boston fans here when they come in. They've got a great history and great organization.
Joe, I have a two-parter here. I remember meeting with you and Peter Guber when you first bought the team, and I think it was at the Four Seasons or the Ritz downtown, and you introduced yourself. Do you ever look back on those early days and some of the goals you set back then? I'm just looking for kind of some arc from you in terms of looking back at what you were thinking when you first bought this team. The second part of this goes back to Chase again. Not only is the arena been a great success, but it seems to be a big part of revitalization of San Francisco as a whole. This is a city with some real problems right now, and Chase seems to be like a beacon here in the city of something new, and there's a lot of construction around here. So maybe Chase in the context of San Francisco's larger situation.
I always wonder how people can remember all the questions when you guys ask multiple questions.
I'm sorry about that. I was hoping to hit on both those. So first of all, I remember back in the day when you first took over and what you and Peter were thinking and dreaming about.
Yeah, well, he's from Boston too.
Yeah.
We're both from that area. So look, I was quoted, I think at the time, saying we wanted to be like the Celtics and the Lakers, if not better. Big goals, right? We're trying to change the direction of this franchise at the time. And so the first thing you have to do is set goals. Then you have to go out and hire the people to do it. And no one's going to believe it. It's not going to happen unless you state it as a goal. And so we did that. And Boston has a little history for me because, I grew up with them. I grew up in the 60s in a place called New Bedford, Mass. Till I was about 13 years old. And, I was listening with a transistor radio by my ear to the Celtics and Sam Jones and Casey Jones and John Havlicek and all these guys, Bill Russell. So it certainly has a place in my memory banks and in my heart, but it's been a long time since then. And, I learned a lot from it, but I'm definitely not a Boston fan at this point. It's all Warriors. My kids have grown up here. And we've built what we've built here, and we're very proud of it. And we're a unique organization. We've had some success. It will take a lot of years of ownership to even come close to what the Celtics have achieved in terms of all the fantastic decades of success. How many titles do they have? 17. The Celtics? They both have 17. Yeah, it's a lot. So how many do we have, Raymond? 6. We have a ways to go, I guess is the point. And that is our goal. Our goal is to be perennially really good and challenging for a title. Otherwise, there's no point in doing this. Zero. And so everything we do, 24/7, 365, is all about making this the greatest organization on earth, certainly in the NBA and basketball. And that's what we wanted to try to do. We set that as a goal, knowing it's a long-term kind of goal. We've had some pretty good success over the first 12 years. I'll give you a statistic, which I think is the most unbelievable statistic. Celtics are great. Jerry Buss owned the Lakers for 33 years. Anybody know how many finals he made in 33 years? 16 out of 33 years. Now that is remarkable. So not to take it off the Celtics, I don't know the equivalent number, but we've made now 6 in 12 years. So I love the 50% rate. Now, whether we can continue that, I don't know, but I'm sure it's all going to try. We're going to try. All right.